This time on Whatever We Want, we talk about
The Batman. Spoilers, major, huge, big spoilers
Big boy
ahead. There are
spoilers.
time codes down in the description if you would like to jump around to different points in the episode. We talk everything from how Robert Pattinson almost didn't get cast. We talk about the world building and the storytelling, the cinematography, the music, predictions for the future with like potential spin-off series and sequels in the works, all that jazz and more. Enjoy!
Enjoy.
Pre-butter, peanut butter, Daniel. We get to say it again. How are you doing,
Yes.
my friend?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
I am doing great, thank you.
Got a nice haircut.
Thank you. It's been a while since we've talked face to face like this. So as many people know, we've been doing kind of this shift where we were interviewing people, and we were super appreciative of that, and it was a good learning experience. We think we're gonna slowly start to kind of shift back into kind of finding our footing more with stuff like this, where we're just talking about movies, giving reviews, so that we can put our personality more into it instead of just interviewing, ask. And we still want to have guests on, but more so in a sense that they are kind of
We're
all
casual,
talking together,
but still talking about the same
geeking
thing,
out
right?
about movies
Yeah.
and video games and stuff like that. Because I think the way what happened was I was pitching it I was like, how will I get them on the show? And I was like, if I pitch it to them they're helping other people to learn about different aspects of the industry, then they'll be more likely to come on, which was true, I think. But then we started shifting our show to focus on that, and that's not really what our show's about, I don't think. Yeah, so we're getting back into it. So we appreciate your patience through it all. I'm so excited for this week.
Dude.
Are you ready
Yes.
to jump into it? Ready for the intro?
Yep, hit me with it.
Gosh, let me see if I remember this. You may want us to talk about this or that, but we don't care. We're going to talk about whatever we want. Blah. Welcome back to Whatever We Want, the podcast where we, Jake and Daniel, two devilishly handsome gentlemen, talk about movies, TV shows, and all media, giving behind-the-scenes insights, filmmaking techniques, all that jazz, and more. You know what we're talking about this week, Daniel.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Would you like to say it?
The Batman. Oh, man. Dude.
Batman. Oh, man. The Batman.
This
Oh, man.
movie is a masterpiece.
Where does it rank compared to Dark Knight? Do you also if on a YouTube I've got lighting, red lighting to match the Batman aesthetic?
Oh, that's cool.
Uh-huh.
Let me,
Dan's like, where's the thing red?
just some Cheez-Its off the side.
Just like Batman needs. Compared to Dark Knight.
That's the tough thing. You can't ask which one's better. Dark Knight. They're both different versions of Batman.
I honestly, I don't hate me, but I think I have a less high view of this movie. I didn't love it as much as I thought I would because I was going in with high expectations. And also, I saw it at 11 p.m. and I was so tired.
Yeah, you're
it's such
dead
a long
watching
movie.
Yeah.
It was such a long. Okay, even if I wasn't tired, I think there were some things that could have been cut. Specifically at the very end when I was like, this is dragging. And then when we see Catwoman and Batman just race motorcycles for 3 minutes, I was like, do I need to see this?
Yeah, that wasn't necessary, but it was still cool to see. You know,
No, I
it's a
agree.
nice
But don't get
little
me wrong,
tender
I did
moment.
like it a lot. A lot.
No, I liked it a lot. The reason why I like it a lot is because I feel like this is the detective movie that Batman always deserved.
Yes.
That's the thing with the Bales or the Keatons or any of the other ones where it's just
You don't know any other ones, do you?
no, there's Clooney and then there's
Adam West.
West, yeah.
Was it Val Kilmer or something?
Yeah, there's also Kilmer. Which one was Bat Nipples?
I don't know. But speaking of bat nipples, but sorry, yeah. Speaking of bat nipples, so Robert Pattinson actually tried on every suit during his audition of all the Batman suits. That's got to be really freaking cool.
Yeah, that would have been sweet.
They tried them all on to see what would fit, and apparently he said in an interview that only Clooney's head cowl fit him, but his suit didn't, and then one of the other chests fit him, but not the head. So either Robert Pattinson's really weirdly proportioned, or all the other Batmen are just really proportioned. They're just unique. Unique.
Yeah, they're all their own bat sizes.
Bat sizes. Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
it was nice seeing one. It wasn't the origin story that we got with other ones as well.
They just
It was,
dropped us into the detective
right in,
case.
which is awesome. I just love. I mean, this is cinema in an artisanal form because it took so much ideology from graphic novels and comics and
Really.
Illustrated it on the big screen, which is what I love. Scenes
Yeah.
where you get Batman again, him going through the club to go and try to save Falcone, or like
the use of color was really
the color was so
awesome.
vibrant. Well, it's also I feel like the first time we've seen Gotham.
Yeah.
How it really should be.
So
like
gritty. Like
yeah.
Because basically, like, I mean, in The Dark Knight Rises, it was Pittsburgh, pretty much. Like, it literally,
pretty
they
much.
filmed
You know, it
Pittsburgh.
was like,
which like was good. And don't get me wrong, it's a very dirty and gritty city, having been there many times.
Yeah,
but like this felt like a city that had been
through it,
just crime ridden for 20 years.
Yeah,
like which is the story. It's I don't even know how to say it. It felt like grounded in that sense and like gritty and like real within its own world, but that was so separate. Like they built their own world that we could very much understand and easily drop into, but it is very different than our reality world. Yeah, Daniel's having the blue pill. But anyways, what did you think of Pattinson, Robert Pattinson, just as Batman?
Okay, so at first, because this was announced a while ago, I was worried about
it. Actually got leaked before he got the part that everyone thought he got the part, like it rumored. So he thought he lost the part because of that, because everyone was like, oh, he's Batman. And he was like, I didn't even do my screen test yet. And like he did it. Robert Pattinson did a screen test 1 week like into filming Tenet with Christopher Nolan, who did the Dark Knight trilogy. And like he actually like tried to lie to Christopher Nolan. He was like, oh, I'm gonna like do a long lunch, or can I have like this day off or something like that for like family? And Christopher Nolan was like, you're going to the Batman audition, aren't you? And Robert Pattinson was like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. After seeing Tenet, my faith was restored. Like I knew he'd be able to be like do what he has to do as Batman.
I think he's done a lot of great things, like The Lighthouse. I think he was great in. I haven't seen The Lighthouse. I've seen like clips of it. But he does. Amazing. He had that like persona around him of being like Cedric Diggory from like Harry Potter, and then like the guy from Twilight. Like I feel like he's been done so much since then that just a lot of people haven't seen, but like that has kind of proved that like he is something else.
He has a much wider skill set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. What do you think of him and like the Batman voice?
I thought it worked out. That's actually one of the things I didn't like about Batfleck. Like I get it with the whole like the voice modulation thing with his own auto tuner.
Oh,
but, like,
yeah. It was different. I like how much they're experimenting because there's been so many iterations. They're kind of forced to like do something different each time. Like I feel like with like all the Marvel stuff, like it's the first time we're seeing these heroes a lot of the time. So you're like, whatever it is, you have nothing to base it off of. I think because there's been so many iterations of Batman, we have so much to like compare it to that I think that skews our perspective a little bit.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
if this was the first Batman thing ever, everyone would be like, holy moly.
At the same time though, but at the same time, if it was the first Batman thing ever, people would be like lost at some points because like they'd be like, who is this character? What is his origin? Because that's another thing that's a benefit of that, because we have so much stuff to reference it to. We already know the origin story. We know how he begins, you know?
We had Batman Begins. Yeah, I like that we didn't see the Waynes die again. I thought we were going to.
Yeah. But I do also like how in this version we see the corruption of the Waynes.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
That's something I think they talked about possibly exploring more. Like I think Robert Pattinson and the guy that plays the Riddler, Paul Dano, they like I think did a lot of research in the comics, and they like kept talking about the Court of Owls, which is like this in the comics is like this
high society that's like, it's kind of like underneath society where it's kind of think of like the Illuminati, you know, like people are always like, oh, the Illuminati is like the secret society that controls everything.
It's
that
like
actually
super
is the Court of Owls in Gotham.
high up people that like run everything. It's like in the new comic run, but like they kept mentioning it in a lot of interviews. They're like, that would be really cool in like the sequel, and then they kept backtracking and be like, I mean, if there's a sequel. So I'm like, is there gonna be a sequel? I think like, dude, I think they want there to be a sequel.
I want there to be a sequel. This movie was great. I'd love to see this. Another thing I like about this version of Batman 2 is the practicality of it, right? Like again, like we saw in the Bale versions where it's like, oh yeah, he has like this nano reaction cape, so what allows him to fly. But no, like this Batman is like, he's using like real military equipment to where like he's like an actual like wingsuit, or like he's using like a fast rappel.
Honestly didn't look as cool though as the.
It didn't look as cool, no, but like it makes sense, and
but also you got to think this Batman is like 2 years. I feel like they fast tracked Bale's Batman like to get all this stuff, but like this Batman is like 2 years into his journey, and I think they're kind of taking their time, like with him discovering himself. And I saw in like one interview with Robert Pattinson that I think he was like, Bruce Wayne often is portrayed as like this playboy when he's like putting on his Bruce Wayne mask and he's not Batman, or like behind the scenes Bruce Wayne. This one did not have that, which I thought was actually really interesting because it almost feels like Bruce Wayne didn't know who he was, and so he kind of like retreated into Batman more often than I think he would have if he had this other, if he knew who he was as Bruce Wayne. I don't think he knows who he is as Bruce Wayne, so he's kind of resorting to Batman.
And that's cool. That was vilified even more with the realization of what his parents did, right, in their history. Because he's like, oh wait, this is my history. I thought my parents
legacy,
were Boy Scouts, and his whole mental image of his reality was changed. You know,
right?
And a lot of his personality is based off of that.
Maybe next movie will be him, like discovering his Bruce Wayne side more, and it'll be called like Wayne or something angsty like that. I could so see them dropping like Wayne coming 2025 or something like that.
Oh no, what's that one movie that was in the preview? Oh, Nope. Oh my god, it's like
Jordan Peele. He came into my internship office one day. Told me to
really?
Flex. Yeah. 2 years ago when I was out here, I was typing on my little intern computer. I forget if I told this story or not on the podcast, but like I was typing on my intern computer, and you know when you can like kind of sense someone's like near you, like when I get like I literally could see, I sensed that, and I like turned, and he was just there in our office. Like I literally, it was like from me to like this lamp away, like I could have reached out and touched him, and I was like, oh,
why
for the
didn't
people
you?
on the audio episode, it's like 2 feet, 3 feet. Because I didn't sort of touch him, but I was just like in shock, and I looked around and everyone else was so calm, and I was like, I guess this is just normal. And then after he left, someone was like, was Jordan Peele here? And everyone was like, wait, really? And I was like, how did you guys not see him? He was standing right next to me, and I'm like in the middle of the office. And so then we made a code word for every time a celebrity comes to the office. It was like Starship or Shooting Star or something like that, because they're a Hollywood star.
I just think of the song Shooting Stars.
Starships. We see like Chris Evans comes in. Starships were meant to fly. Flash mob breaks out, led by Chris Evans.
Man.
All right, back to the tank. But yeah, so I think Robert Pattinson, with that thing I was saying about like him not knowing who Bruce Wayne was, he actually like for his research into this role, he went onto a lot of like forums with fan theories and to like study about his performance. And I think he saw one that said like Batman fights these criminals and he doesn't kill them so that they can keep escaping, and he can kind of keep putting them into jail. And it's like he's reliving the night of his parents' death over and over again. So he's like continuing to be able to stop it like over and over.
Interesting.
That was like some like headcanon of why he might do that, and like some of the psychology behind Bruce Wayne. Maybe they'll dive deep into that in Wayne 2025. Maybe
if we were gonna do something like that, it'd be cool to see an enemy like the Scarecrow or Doctor Strange.
Who was that enemy at the end? You think that was Joker?
Oh yeah, that's definitely this universe's Joker.
Yeah, I'm no offense. I know Joker's like the iconic villain, but like we've seen so much Joker, and Batman has so many other villains. Like
I know. We have not seen like what again?
Like Clayface. What the heck?
Clayface, Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze.
And we saw Killer Croc in Suicide Squad. Get Arnold back. Arnold back for Wayne 2025.
Wait, when was Crockett? Oh yeah, we did. I'm being stupid. I forgot. But still,
Arnold
like
Schwarzenegger for Wayne 2025.
But you know what I mean? There's so many, and I'm just like, Calendar Man.
Yeah. What are his powers again?
He does things with numbers and dates. I don't know.
It'd be ironic if he was like late or like missed something.
Oh my god! But the Mad Hatter.
Anyways, I like the suit a lot. It's like very streamlined, and also Robert Pattinson seemed like a skinnier, almost not skinny. He was very built, but like compared to like Ben Affleck, like he was
like
huge.
Yeah,
a Hulk. I think this guy, he was like skinnier, but also made it more reasonable why he could like fight really quick. Like I could see why this guy was actually quick.
Just the choreography in general. Oh,
the choreography. Do you know that the one fight in the hallway with the muzzle flashes? Mm-hmm. I was talking about that with my roommates. What? I don't know if it was a one take. I think they might have cut. I was talking about this with my roommates. I think they might have cut in between the flashes because it just goes completely pitch black. So why? And especially like how are they gonna fight a whole scene like going back and forth in darkness? So I think they probably do one like motion and with that flash, and then it cuts to black, and they just leave the camera on the tripod, and they set up for the next one, and then do the next one, and they just like piece it together. I think that's how they would have to do it, because how do you do like a whole fight scene like in complete darkness, especially when you have a Batman thing on when you can barely see? Like,
that's a good point.
I don't know. I think that's might be one way they could have done it.
If you were going to do that in one take, you could have it where you're doing it in light off, like first get the choreography
in light of the
down.
situation.
Aha.
Oh yeah, I know. But he's darkness.
And then do it. You know what I mean?
I am the night. I did like, speaking of the darkness and night, like I liked again, my roommates and I were talking about this, but like when he put his sunglasses on, like when he was like outside during the day, and also he just was extremely pale like throughout the whole movie, just because he operates like solely at night, like he's just losing himself to Batman for like the past 2 years. But also, speaking of just the costume, one more thing before we move on. Apparently, Robert Pattinson ran into Christian Bale at like a urinal somewhere, just like at some event, and like Christian Bale had heard that he got cast as Batman, and Bale said the first thing that Bale said to Pattinson was that they need to coordinate with the costume designer to put like a zipper or some sort of flap in the crotch of the Batman suit so that he could use the bathroom. And then I also saw in a separate interview with Ben Affleck that apparently Christian Bale said the same thing to him when he first got casted. So apparently, like, Christian Bale has some deep-rooted like problems with having to use the trauma with using the bathroom in the Batman suit.
Well, that's the thing with this suit. The suit was more practical. It looked like it had like a normal zipper and everything.
Yeah,
so
maybe it was good. That's because of Christian Bale. Yeah. He should get a producer credit for that.
I thought you were gonna say Christian Bale like looked down and he was like, Batman's in good hands, you know, like I don't know, like something like that. I feel like that's something I would say if I was Batman.
Oh my!
And, like,
that's why you're not gonna be Batman.
Yeah, that's why I'd never be Batman.
Imagine the Bat group chat with like all of them texting. The Bat chat.
They'd all just say, I am Batman. Like,
I'm Batman. No, I'm Batman. Batman has left the chat. Before we get into all the rest of the characters, what'd you think of like, I mean, we talked about the look a little bit, but like, I think the reason this is like such an iconic like cinematography and just like feels like its own world and world building is because I think just the people they had on the team are really good at world building. Like Matt Reeves, he's actually the director of the last 2 like latest Planet of the Apes movies, and that was like crazy with world building. So Matt Reeves did the Planet of the Apes movies, and then Greg Fraser, but he was a cinematographer and like director of photography for this, but he also did Dune and Rogue One, so like, and those are also very uniquely like shot movies, so I think they were in good hands there. I really like just his style and his look. That I think he's emerging as a really interesting cinematographer. Emphasizes like scale a lot.
Yeah.
All the other characters. Let's get into all the other characters. What do you think of the Penguin?
I was going to ask you that. I thought the prosthetic was crazy for.
It was crazy. Colin Farrell. Like I've watched interviews, and I'm like, I couldn't even tell it was him.
And also just the way he talked too. Like it was like.
Yes.
Literally like a whole new person. That's what was crazy about it.
The prosthetics really helped with that. Like once he could see like the scars and like the violence that this person has went through in his life, that helped him find the voice and performance that he wanted to have. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Mike Marino did the makeup. I just want to shout that out because he did a great job.
Yeah, it was an amazing job.
Apparently, Colin Farrell, like the guy that played him, he's pretty well known, and he went into Starbucks like after putting on the prosthetics, and no one recognized him. Even if they did, I don't know if I'd go up to him looking like the Penguin.
Did he use his actual name, or did he use like
I don't know,
Cobblepot? What's your name for the coffee, sir? Cobblepot.
But apparently, the Penguin's getting his own rated R spin-off series.
Oh.
That was announced recently.
Interesting. That's going to be unique to see.
Yeah, I don't know what that's going to be. Like
Same. Who else do we have?
What do you think of Catwoman? Zoe Kravitz.
Nice.
Did you know? I literally found out 5 minutes ago.
She was a voice actress for Catwoman in Lego. Yeah.
For Catwoman in the Lego Batman movie. That's so awesome.
I knew that.
That's like...
I know my stuff.
Imagine that. Like... You just get cast as the voice, and they're like, they call you back a few years later. You did a great job. You want to be the real thing.
You want to be the real thing. You want to show.
What would you? I think that's a good introduction to the character too, because you start getting in the mindset, and then you can be like, I mean, obviously it's Lego. It's not probably as intense, or I mean, maybe it is. I don't know with the process, but like after you get that voice, you're like introduced to the character a little bit. Apparently, the hardest part of all of filming was getting Selena's cats, like the cactors, to stay put and do like the right thing and not get in the way. Not all the stunts, not all like the gun choreography, but like the cats just would not like listen because they're cats.
They're cats.
And apparently she Zoe, like the actress for Catwoman, she had scheduled cat time after training. So she'd like do all the stunt choreography, then do like weightlifting. And then she had an allotted period of time where she just hung out with the cats that would be the actors so that she could get familiar with them and hopefully they would like grow to like her. She said they did not.
Oh, that's funny. It's a good idea, I guess, because again, they're cats, but like...
They're cactors. Cactors. Sounds like cactus actors. Cactors. They're cactus cats. One last thing for Catwoman. She apparently looked up videos of how cats like move and fight, and especially like big cats and lions, like lions and tigers.
Lions and tigers and bears.
To like research and base her movements off of. And then apparently she told Robert Pattinson this, so he looked up the same thing with bats.
Oh, I know what you're doing.
Yeah,
too.
he looked up how bats could fight, and the only video he found was a bat versus a chicken. And what the bat did was he would fly around crazy until the chicken would like get so scared that it like passed out. And then the bat would fly down and bite the chicken on the anus, and that's how it would win. So just safe to say, I was looking out for that to see if that was anywhere in Robert Pattinson's like decor as he was acting.
It's just like a screenshot of the chicken and the bat in like the background of the Batman somewhere. Like this is where I learned my battle tactics, not from Alfred, from this bat.
What do you think of Alfred? Speaking of Andy Serkis,
he did an amazing job. It was also so heartfelt, like when he.
Did you know he motion captured everything? Like they CG'd him back into the scene.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
No, you didn't. I think I got you on that before.
You did, but I forget who. No, it was for Andy, but it was for...
Yeah, it was for something else. Dang it, I can't get you again. When you thought he died, or like the coma or whatever.
That, but also just Bruce being a dick.
Yeah.
Like, you're not my dad.
Being a Dick Cheney. Robin.
Yeah. That's Grayson.
I know.
Are you Googling that now?
No, Dick Cheney was you know what my mind went? Dick Cheney was the former vice president of the United States who was played, I think, by Christian Bale in that like movie Vice a few years ago.
Where he's like a giant fat suit. And you're like Colin Farrell?
Another Batman actor. Oh, that's funny. That's so funny. Dick Grayson. Not Dick Cheney, former vice president of the United States.
But no, I thought Alfred was really well done.
Yeah, I really liked the relationship between Bruce and Alfred, and then Batman and Gordon. I thought that was. I really liked their kind of. They felt like more like partners in this case versus like in the Nolan trilogy.
Yeah. In the Nolan trilogy, it was more like Batman was just like talking to Gordon. He like earned his trust a little bit, but like the relationship wasn't really built on like them working together. Like Batman kind of just used Gordon to like get in with the police and do what he needs to do. In this case, he looked at Gordon as an equal. In some cases, he went on to even praise Gordon. He's like,
and punch him in the face.
Well, yeah, but like, but that's the thing. Gordon was like, if you punch, like he was the one who proposed it, and he's like,
proposed
that's how much respect. That's how much they respect each other.
Hold on.
Punch me in the face.
Will you punch me in the face? For our audio listeners out there, I just opened my AirPods case as a proposal to Daniel.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yes, I do.
Just punch my monitor. Anyway, so yeah, Jeffrey Wright. I kept hearing I didn't hear the Watcher. I thought I was gonna just hear the Watcher the whole time. I love his like deep voice, but like he plays the Watcher in What If. But like I thought he did a really good job.
Nah, he did an amazing job. It was nice take on Gordon.
Yeah. Finally, what'd you think of Paul Dano, the Riddler?
Oh, there's something else I want to talk about, but yeah.
Okay.
The Riddler was okay. He seemed I get the idea. His performance was good.
You didn't like the Riddler?
No, his performance was really good. What I'm trying to say is, when we got to the final like cell scene, and he's like going crazy, I was kind of laughing at times.
I just thought he
kind of seemed like a 12-year-old kid at the point. I was like screaming.
That's where his like trauma came from. Like when he was an orphan.
Yeah, no.
He was different from Bruce Wayne. Like they had the same like situation happen to them where they became orphans, but like Bruce Wayne like got all the praise and like was doing a lot better than like all the other orphans that were just in an actual orphanage.
Yeah.
Who's the other person you want to talk about?
Falcone.
Falcone. Oh yeah.
He was the
guy from Transformers.
One conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
From Transformers.
It was weird seeing him like not in his underwear.
At first I was like, I'm not gonna be able to not see him as Transformers guy.
Yeah.
But then eventually it got to the point where it was like, oh no, he's Falcone.
That's why I think
which is good.
this movie did really well. Like there were not a lot of things that like took me out of it, even though I was expecting there to be with some of the cast.
Yeah.
That chase sequence, the car chase, there were a lot of really good edits.
Yeah, I was about to talk about that. Yeah.
I feel like I felt all the action. I really like the Batmobile. Like it didn't feel like it was like this unstoppable tank. Like it felt like he was slipping and like sometimes lost control. And like if he got hit, made a mistake and got hit, like he would be out.
It's going to be, yeah.
It was just like a souped up like muscle car. It wasn't like this tank pretty much.
Yeah, and I think it's a nice balance to it too. Again, like
it
not
still feel
like
beefy. Yeah, it's not like
beefy.
a toy truck or something.
But at the same time, like if he messed up, he'd be messed up. You know.
Yeah.
He still needed to have that Batman level of precision and control to be able to get to do what he wants to do, which in that case was to capture Penguin. I also just love just a whole back and forth with the Riddler and Batman in this, like of the solving. And you also love how in every time you can always see how Batman was just as quick, if
was
not
it
quicker
too
sometimes.
quick, do you think?
No, it was perfect.
Really?
Because at the same
I had some
time,
people say they thought it was sometimes a little too quick that he got every single one. But then again, I argued that like he didn't get the big picture until like the very end.
That's what I was going to
He didn't
say.
solve it all. He wasn't
didn't-
like, I knew all along.
Yeah, he didn't get it all. He was because he's quick with the small easy rolls.
Yeah, and they messed up
that's
the
fine.
El and La Spanish thing.
Yeah, you know,
El Rat.
there
El
were
Rato.
mistakes made along the way.
Rata.
That's the thing that made it good.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of an investigation. You gotta follow your leads until you're able to get to the right solution. It was the detective movie that Batman deserved.
Yeah.
It just straight up was.
That just brings me to like overall, I had this conversation with my roommates, but like think about it. We have movies, we have TV shows, we have video games, books. There are so many different mediums of like media, which is like what this show's about. And like when I start exploring other mediums of media, that should be the name of the show, Mediums of Media. But I think it's interesting. Like some stories are better, and we've talked about this. Like for a video game, some stories are better to watch in a movie. Some stories are better in a book, and it depends on what. Like Uncharted, a lot of video game movies do bad because they're good video games. They don't translate to good movies because the person wants to play the character and play the video game.
Yeah.
I think Batman is fascinating because it transcends everything. They're comic books. They're really good comic books. They're really good video games. They're really good movies. Why do you think that is?
I think at the core of it is because Batman has many different angles that he can be displayed through, right?
Yeah.
The reason why he's so good in comics is because of his character and his moral stance, right? That brings around a very strong storytelling element that's different than what you see from the average everyday Joe, right? And then throughout time and history in the comics, we've been able to delve into that and his relationships with others, right? And then how his ideologies have grown and changed, which is also what we were able to see in the film when he came to the realization at the end when he's like, I'm not just vengeance. If I'm just vengeance, then it's just going to be a city and a cycle of anger.
Yeah.
So he needs to be more than that. He needs to be hope. He needs to be so much more. And that's where movies come in. It's better. Movies are better in that sense where you need to be able to demonstrate or to be able to share a message or convey an idea. But in this sense, because you have Batman as a character, it's a great way to physically show that idea through this character's actions and their own realization of it, right? On the flip of it, games for Batman in this case also make it like amazing games because at the same time,
bad guys.
He can beat up bad guys. Yeah, there's so much versatility to the character. He both literally in the sense of dynamically across media, but also just if you want to talk about like character himself, like again, he himself, if he has enough time, he could defeat anything.
Yeah,
that's a really unique way to think about how would a character like this solve these problems, and that's all gameplay is about when it comes to games. Like how would you go into a situation and solve this?
I think it's interesting. My roommate was saying that he thinks it's because it's like a kind of like the modern like Greek tragedy almost, and my mom and my dad always said that like it's he's like so relatable, like he's just an average person, but he's doing all these like extraordinary things, and that just like gives excitement and hope to like people watching.
Just enjoy it for what it is. That's one of the big things. I guess again, like you know me, like I'm not a big DC guy. Like I'm not a big fan of what DC's been doing with their movies. But when they take their time and do something right and have anybody and does it artisanally, like how this movie was, then it deserves the credit that was put into it, right?
Yeah.
It was a really well done film.
Oh, the score. I forgot to talk about the score.
Oh yeah, the score. Oh my god, this is a whole other element of it.
It's just so, all the sound was like amazing. I saw it in like IMAX, and just like the theater was like shaking, and like things would just like keep, like with his boots, they would keep vibrating the seats.
Hear me out. The sound was hitting like panels of a graphic novel. So when you saw the moments where like Batman's walking,
because they can't do like
penguin,
bam, like on screen, like in comics.
Yeah, they can't
could feel
but the
it.
Beats. Yeah,
and the bats. I thought the bats in the cave sounded exactly like the video game. I was like, whoa, that's
right.
Cool. Like, just the music though
is amazing when they cues like that, and they're able to use that to
just instantly iconic
to orchestrate and create like a feeling and
orchestrate.
an iconic moment. It's really that's all comics are. If you think about it, it's how do you tell a story by these moments, and these moments are visuals, right? That you're illustrating like per these panels on a page, right? But in this case, because it's a film, you're able to still create these moments by these beats and these different shots. So you're able to combine together to be able to make something that's again artisanal and then beautiful.
Right. I liked it. I think things could have been cut down a little bit, but overall I thought it was amazing. Really good like auteur like kind of like film, which we haven't seen a lot in comic book movies. Like I think closest we've seen to that is like Joker, where it was like very stylized and like an artsy more artistic film than a lot compared to like a lot of the like, no offense to Marvel, but like kind of formulaic stuff we get from that, which I do love and enjoy, and I love that stuff. I'm super excited for like this upcoming project that I'm literally about to talk about in the next segment, but yeah, so this was, I think, a nice fresh taste.
I agree. I think it was, again, it's nice to have variation. If you're just doing all the same thing, it's just going to get bland. No matter what it is. You have caviar all day. It's going to get bland eventually.
All right. Before we jump into to Tubular Trivia Tidbits, have you heard of the Addams Project? It's like this new film coming out.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to that. Like that feels like very like sci-fi, and like it's from the same studio that did Free Guy. It's like Ryan Reynolds like time traveling back in time to like meet himself and like his dad, and it just looks really interesting. And I really like that studio, like kind of the movies they're kind of making. Like they're really like the last one was like about a video game, and this one's about like science fiction time travel. Like they just seem like fun movies and concepts to work on and like enjoy.
And
like
doing it well.
Kind of cool palate
like,
cleanser almost. Yeah. So I'm just really excited for that. That comes out literally this Friday, and then Turning Red from Pixar also comes out this Friday.
I'm not too excited about that, if I'm being honest.
Honestly, me neither. I'm a little more excited for Lightyear, but I like Pixar a lot, so I'm sure it'll be decent at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Ready for Totally Tubular Trivia Tidbits?
Go with yours first.
Totally Tubular Trivia Tidbits. Did you know that the voice actor for Aang in Avatar: The Last Airbender never met the rest of the cast until the end of the show?
Really?
Yeah, so Zach Tyler Eisen, the voice actor for Aang, like as a kid, he was like 12 when the show was like going on, and he lived in New York. All the other cast lived in LA. Zach was like going to school, and then would like record lines after school or like on the weekends and stuff at like a studio, and like phone in to like LA where the directors would be, or sometimes directors would fly out, but all the cast was based in LA. So and like he couldn't go to premieres because he had like school and events to just like his schedule. So until like pretty much like right before the end of the show, like one of the like final season premieres or like season finale maybe, he like never went to any of the red carpet events. Not that there was really any, because it wasn't that big when it got started. So until it like got big with like the finale, like he never met the rest of the cast. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. That was a cool experience though. Eventually going out and doing that, like finally, you know.
Yeah. All right, are you ready for Patron Shout-Outs?
Yeah, hit me with them.
Cue the episode music. Boosh, got Patron Lori, Frank, Rick, Lisa, Evan, Tony. Thank you so much for watching the tier. Thanks to the shout-out. If you'd like to support us over on Patreon, the link is down in the description. You get the episode early, the audio episode, special benefits, cool perks. Yeah, we talk to you sometimes, all that jazz and more. Thank you so much for the support recently, and yeah, with your patience with everything that's changing. If you would like to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, or a comment on YouTube, we will shout those out. If you would like, yeah, let us know what your thoughts were on Batman. I'm genuinely curious. Yeah, I will shout out those comments now. I'm actually going to shout one out from TikTok now. Reeseism said, followed, keep up the great content on our TikTok when we were talking about virtual production. So thank you. Well, thank you, Reese. That's, I think, everything I want to talk about. You ready for the introduction?
Yep. Come away again. When we just talked about what we want to talk about, and now we're done. Blah.
Thank you so much for listening. Seriously, really, genuinely appreciate all the support. Thank you for your patience and everything recently. Really appreciate it. If you like, please be sure to follow, subscribe, all that jazz, and more. Goodbye.
Bye.